All right, you guys. So, again, I was sort of bummed about Matteo Polito, but at least I kind of get to do this one with you guys. So, this one is called The Crowded Noisy House. It usually doesn't go by this name. It usually goes by the name, oh, I apologize. Let me close that because that's distracting, isn't it? When that happens. So it goes by the name The Crowded, this version is called The Crowded Noisy House, but it's usually known as It Could Always Be Worse. Have you ever heard that phrase, It Could Always Be Worse? It's kind of a good phrase, because even when you feel pretty unhappy about things, you could say to yourself, gosh, well, it could always be worse. Let's say it's really cold outside, and you're worried about playing at recess. Well, being cold could always be worse. It could have been pouring rain, you couldn't go outside, right? So, this, like the other folk tale, has been retold many, many times. And it's a Jewish folk tale. And this person here is called a rabbi. Now, raise your hand. Actually, with kindergarten right now, I'm doing a whole unit on December holidays. And we talked a lot about Hanukkah, and the dreidel, and the menorah. Raise your hand if anyone in the room celebrates Hanukkah. Okay, cool. Quinn, can you tell me something about it?
I used to the dreidel, and that's probably what it's a game.
Okay, yep. It is a game. You play it with your family? Or no?
I don't know.
You just know about it. Okay. Grace, do you celebrate Hanukkah? You do? Okay, tell me something, a way that you celebrate it. Put a light on, right? How many, when you say every day at Hanukkah, how many days are there? What did you say? That's okay if you forgot. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but okay. So, but this person here, closest to me now, is called the rabbi. And a rabbi is a leader or a teacher in the Jewish religion. So, let's say you go to a Catholic church. That person's job would be the priest. Okay, raise your hand if you go to a church like, okay, yep. So in this case, it's called the rabbi. He's the Jewish teacher or the leader. So, the crowded, noisy house. Here we go. Once there was a poor Jewish man. The poor Jewish man went to speak with his rabbi. Rabbi, the man said, you must help me. My life is terrible. I live with my wife, our 5 children, and my mother-in-law. There is only one room for all 8 of us. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Think about that. One room for all 8 of us. The children, they cry and they fight. My wife, she screams a lot. My mother-in-law, she kafetches about everything. Now, kafetch is a Yiddish term and it means to complain. Do you know anyone that complains? Raise your hand if you know someone that complains. It could be a friend, someone at home. Okay. Next time they're complaining, they'd be impressed. Say, boy, you're kafetching a lot. Yeah. It's crowded, it's noisy and horrible. I tell you honestly, Rabbi, I don't think it could be any worse. Well, the rabbi rubbed his chin as he pondered the man's situation. My son, he said, if you will promise to do as I tell you, your life will get better. Will you promise? Yes, yes, said the rabbi. I promise. Tell me, said the rabbi, do you own any animals? Yes, said the man, I have a goat. Good, said the rabbi. Go home and take the goat into your house. Let it eat and sleep with you for a few days. Isn't that an interesting suggestion to try to make things seem better and less crowded? He says, bring the goat into your house.
That will get more noisy.
You would think, right? I am sure it would have to get more noisy, certainly more chaotic. Okay. The man was stunned. Take the goat into the house? The rabbi's advice sounded like a crazy idea. But everyone knew that the rabbi was a wise man. And so the poor man agreed to do what he said. He went home and he led the goat into his house. 2 days later, the man went back to the rabbi. Oy vey, he said. I did as you said. I brought my goat into the house, but things are even worse than before. The children, they cry and they fight. My wife, she continues to scream a lot. My mother-in-law fetches about everything. The goat, she butts us with her head, and she knocks dishes off the shelves. Help me, Rabbi. I don't think it could be any worse. The rabbi sat down and said, then he asked the man, do you have any other animals? Well, yes, said the man, I have a cow. Good, said the rabbi. Go home and take the cow into your house. Let it eat and sleep with you for a few days. Again, the man did as he was told. He went home and he led the cow into his house. 2 days later, he went back to see the rabbi. Oy vey, he moaned. I did as you said. I brought the cow into the house and things are even worse than before. The children, they cry and they fight. My wife, she screams a lot. My mother-in-law, she fetches about everything. The goat, she butts us with her head and knocks the dishes off the shelves. The cow, she eats our clothing. The house is like a barn. We can't sleep for all the bleeding and the mooing. Help me, Rabbi. I don't think it could be any worse. The rabbi was silent for a long time. Then he asked, do you have any other animals? Well, said the man, pausing, I have a goose. Perfect, said the rabbi. Go home. Take the goose into your house. Let it sleep and eat with you. 2 days later, the man went back to the rabbi. Do you think things have gotten better?
No.
Oy vey, he groaned. Things are worse than ever. The children, they cry and they fight. So the children have been crying and fighting since the very beginning of the story, right? That has not changed. My wife, she screams a lot. That happened in the beginning of the story, right? My mother-in-law, she fetches about everything. Well, that was happening in the beginning of the story. The goat, she butts us with our head. She knocks the dishes off the shelves. The cow, she eats our clothing. The goose, he honks and he poops on the floor. I tell you, Rabbi, it is wrong for a man to eat and sleep with animals. I don't think it could be any worse. My son, said the rabbi in a gentle voice, you are right. Go home. Take the animals out of your house, and you will find the answer. Well, so he goes home. He takes the animals out of his house. Does anyone remember how many people I told you lived in that one-room house at the beginning of the story? How many people did I say, Kelly? 7. Let's see. Yeah.
8.
Yeah. Well, exactly. The next day, the man came running to the rabbi. It's a little tricky to see. But, Rabbi, he cried, his face beaming. You have made my life so sweet. Now that all the animals are outside, the house is so quiet, so roomy, and so clean. How wonderful. Now, what is so funny about this? In the beginning of the story, these were the exact same people that were in his house as are in his house now in the end. But now he's happy. In the beginning, was he happy? No, everything was way too loud. Now he's got the exact same people. Why is he happy? Wow, I'm surprised I see so many hands because I thought this was pretty tricky. I'm quite impressed. Ella, what do you think? Because he didn't like the animals, what, honey? Yeah. So the rabbi almost kind of like tricked him, right? right? Into being happy with his current situation. He made him realize that he needs to be grateful for what he currently has. Good. Does anyone want to add to Ella's thought? That was an excellent thought, Ella. All right, boys and girls, what I'm handing out to you now are some comprehension questions about this Jewish folktale. With your pencil, we're not going to get too far on this one today because I did give you your choose kind, Avery. But with your pencil, I want you to write you're welcome. Please write your name on the top.
Thank you.
We're going to pull it up. No.
I wrote Ricardo Green. Tomorrow. Yeah, these are the ready to write.
Okay. All right, guys. So, first question is, eyes on me. You got your name on the top. What? Sam's ready. Ella's ready. Allie's ready. Cool. Awesome. The first question says, you want to look up here. You can follow along on your paper. It's up to you. What problem is the man having at the beginning of the story? So at the beginning of the story, when he seeks out the rabbi, what is his problem? What is he looking for help with? Quinn.
There's too many people in his house.
Very good. I'm going to write it on the board here with my expo marker. Feel free to copy mine exactly. You could change it a little bit. I'm copying Quinn exactly. Good. Okay. While you're writing it down, I wonder if someone can just raise their hand and tell me answer number 2. Who does he go to for advice? I know you guys are busy writing, but just think about that. I know you know the answer. Raise your hand. Who does he go to for advice? What's that Jewish teacher or leader called? That's with an R. The name? What? It's not really his name. It's like his title. Like how I said compared it to like if some of you go to a Catholic church and there's a priest. I don't rap. Lonnie, do you remember? What was that person? Who does he go see for help? A rab?
What?
Rabbit.
What?
Rabbit.
Very close.
I don't even know his name.
Yep. Okay, very good. He goes to see the rabbi. There you go. Okay. Good. What advice does the man give him? What does the rabbi tell him to do? Sam, I know you're writing, but go ahead, tell me. What does the rabbi tell him to do? Yeah, yeah.
So when I'm reading, everybody had a box, right? All good? Okay, so make sure.
Okay. Now I think the last question is a little bit like what Ella said. At the beginning of the story, the man thinks it is too crowded and noisy with just his family. Why does he now think it's roomy and nice and quiet? Ella, could you give us your answer again? I really like this. At the beginning, he thought it was loud. Now at the end, he thinks it's nice and quiet. Why? Yeah, he grew to appreciate that, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah, he sort of learned his lesson. He learned to appreciate what he has. That's why I told you guys when we started this one, Eva, you could be writing this, okay? Thank you. I told you when we started this one that it's often called "it could always be worse," right? So he was upset about having all these humans in his house, very loud. Meanwhile, once the rabbi told him to bring the animals in, he realized it could be a lot worse. I need to be grateful for what I have. Right? Okay. So boys and girls, you can continue to copy these down, these answers. When you are done with that, that's why I gave you this. Okay? You can enjoy this, or you can enjoy your library book.
When you're done
Yep,
with
let's
this,
do this, but you gotta do the writing for that first. Yep.